The Indo-Pak Coalition. It's so great to have this band back together again. I first started a version of this band back in Chicago about 20 years ago. It was my first foray into experimenting with Indian music, and it really didn't feel right at the time, and I shelved the project. But then when I moved to New York, I heard and eventually met the great guitarist Reza Bassi and the great drummer and tabla player Dan Weiss, and I was really blown away by what they were doing, and I knew that I needed to start this project again. So the new Indo-Pak Coalition reformed in 2005, and we made an album in 2008 called Apti, which I'm really proud of. It's a really great album, and it reached a really wide audience and got rave reviews in Rolling Stone and NPR and Downbeat and all sorts of places. But we grew a lot since then. Rez started using more electronics and experimenting with a lot of sound. Dan started incorporating elements of the drum set instead of exclusively playing tabla. I've actually started experimenting with audio processing and electronics, and I see that as a really important new facet to my vocabulary as both improviser and composer, and I'm really happy to have that integrated into the music that I've written for this new album. The name Indo-Pak Coalition is actually kind of a joke. There are lots of businesses in the US that serve the South Asian community, and they call themselves Indo-Pak Grocers, Indo-Pak Motors, Indo-Pak Hardware Supply. So we initially started out as the Indo-Pak Jazz Coalition, and then it became the Indo-Pak Coalition. Even though it was primarily out of humor, I came to see that the South Asian community in America didn't really draw the same borders as India and Pakistan. So in a lot of ways, the band represents a sort of South Asian unity outside of South Asia. I also like the irony of the fact that the two South Asians are playing Western instruments and the non-South Asian, Dan Weiss, is actually playing tabla. That further mixes up our ideas of genre and region and country and nation. The new album is called Agrima, and Agrima in Sanskrit simply means next. It's nothing particularly heavy, but I think we all keep looking ahead and looking onwards to the next project, the next idea, the next creative process, and this is exactly where I am.